I tell you of the history of this wonderful building, the Palace Theatre. That's what it's known as today. But see if you remember its naming, its title through the years. It was built in 1860, the original site of the Douglas Theatre, destroyed by fire in 1911. It then became Brennan's National Amphitheatre, constructed for vaudeville and live shows. Further alterations made in 1934. It was called the Apollo Theatre. In 1940, MGM purchased the building. For the next 30 years, it was run as a cinema under the names St. James. Do you remember the St. James Theatre? And the one I remember, the Metro. Yes, the old Metro in Collins Street. So that's its evolution. That's how it evolved over all those years. Now known as the Palace Theatre. And the last MGM film screen there was Kelly's Heroes in 1970. Then a church group known as the Revival Centre bought the theatre in 1980. It was sold again in 1987 as the Metro Nightclub. So what's going to happen to the dear old, well, as I knew it, at the Metro, the Palace Theatre, St. James, or the Apollo? We've got a spokesperson there, Rebecca Leslie. Simon?
How are you, Rebecca?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. Now, so what's your involvement here? We believe the Palace Theatre is under threat.
Yes, it is under threat. We've got a committee called Save the Palace Theatre, and we sort of evolved when news about the new development hit sort of early July, and we're planning a rally for next Saturday to actually sort of express our outrage at these current plans they've got slated for the theatre.
Okay, what then is the future of the theatre, Rebecca? What's going to happen to it if this protest doesn't work?
Who knows? It could go on for years. We don't know. There's plans there to actually demolish the theatre and build a 32-storey luxury hotel apartment building. There's lots of reasons why it shouldn't happen, besides the fact that we just want to save the theatre, particularly for live music as it's used at the moment. So the Minister, Matthew Guy, came out sort of at the start and said that the plans, that it just wasn't going to happen. He said, tell them they're dreaming, basically. And yes, just sort of ongoing. The actual plan was deferred for a period there, and it's been resubmitted last week on Wednesday with some adjustments, so some height adjustments. So they've reduced the height level by 27 metres, but they've expanded themselves. They were 8 metres step back, now they're 5 metres step back, so sort of in layman terms, they've actually increased the footprint, and they've extended it closer to the street. So it's all very alarming, particularly a building of that size at that sort of end of Burke Street and that sort of Burke Hill heritage sort of precinct. So
Is there a fear that, if the plans go ahead, does it involve completely just demolishing and wiping the old palace off the face of the earth and just building something in its place, or does it involve keeping the facade and that sort of thing?
No, they're going to completely demolish the whole building.
The whole building, which was put up in what year did you say earlier?
Well, originally 1860.
Yeah.
So you're the protest movement with you, Rebecca. Are they patrons of the theatre? They loved the theatre originally. What is their interest?
Well, our group's evolved from our love of live music. It's been used sort of for live music since 2007. So that's where we sort of evolved from. But we've also got the backing of the National Trust and Melbourne Heritage Action Group. So we're sort of, we speak to them quite regularly, and they keep us updated on all the ins and outs of the actual development itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think with the National Trust's involvement, there would be a bit of, help there.
That's a question, Lizzie, I don't know if you can answer, but why is a building that is that old and has that much meaning for people who have been in there for the live music scene and with such a great history, why is it that it's not protected?
I don't know. It's really bizarre. It's the last review of the actual area was about 30 or 40 years ago. For the protection and stuff. It does have a really low level protection on the facade, but the interiors they're not protected at all.
No.
And you sort of walk past it and you probably wouldn't even really notice it, but once you get inside past the doors and you get in there, it's just amazing, and it's the most amazing place to see live music.
Have you tried to make contact with the Lord Mayor, Robert Doyle?
He's actually excused himself from any decisions about the development because there's some connection with the actual developers previously with him, so he's not going to be involved in any of the decision-making process.
Now, we're saying that there's a rally for Save the Palace Theatre Melbourne, preserve 150-plus years of Melbourne culture. There's a rally to be set down on Saturday, October the 12th. What form is that taking, Rebecca?
Well, we'll have it, it'll be at the Steps of Parliament next Saturday. We'll hopefully have some live music acts. We've also got some speakers. There's some already confirmed and others that we're yet to announce. We're just in the process of sort of tying them down for the date. So we'll actually be announcing that information on our Facebook page, plus we have a website, it's savethepalace.com. So all the information will be on there.
Excellent. We got a time that people should rock up?
Well, we're set to start at 12, so obviously a little bit earlier than that, I would suggest.
So that's it. The rally Saturday, October the 12th, Steps of Parliament House, on the web savethepalace.com. Good luck with that, Rebecca.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. We've no doubt our audience, especially on a Sunday night for Remember When, being what it is, it's all about nostalgia, and yeah, it's just tragic to see. Now, I don't think I've ever actually been to the venue, but I know Ken would have been many times, probably, being the music nut that he is. A good venue, is it, Ken?
It is a beautiful venue, and the tragedy, if this goes, it means that a lot of shows will just bypass Melbourne because it's like a mid-size venue. It's in between the really large venues, even your festival hall. It's smaller than a festival hall, but it's bigger than, say, a pub or a club. And it's just a beautiful theatre inside. It retains that history.
Have they retained the history of the old Metro?
It's even though it's now a nightclub and a live music venue, it still retains that character and the history, and it's just a beautiful venue inside. And of course, like any other building, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then people will lament, oh, remember you used to go there at the top of Burke Street.
Yeah. All right, well, good luck with that, and all involved with perhaps saving the old, the Melbourne, what's it called?
The Palace Theatre.
Palace Theatre.
Yep.